Nick, thanks for joining us. Are you back in Utah now?
Back in Utah, Salt Lake City.
Okay. Tell us what's going to be happening in these days leading up to opening ceremony and then the competition, because things are very tight right now.
For sure, for sure. Well, now that I've officially qualified for the games, we have, I don't know, 3 weeks or so until we start practicing for our event over in Italy. Between now and then will be some training, but also we have one more competition, the X Games in Aspen, Colorado, just in about a week and a half. So the whole tour is going to move to the X Games, which is just a feature contest every year, one of the best ones. And then after that, which will be kind of like practice for the Olympics, then we'll move into like really intense Olympic prep.
We talked years ago when you changed sports, came out of retirement, went back to this. You predicted that if you did it right, that you would be able to make the team. I think you even talked about making the team in Utah as well. I mean, just big predictions. You knew yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, for sure. I think you can really do anything you set your mind to. I mean, my dad instilled that in me when I was a kid. And especially when you know that, you've done years and years of preparation for something, transferring from slopestyle to half pipe when I made that switch a couple of years ago, I knew it was just a matter of time before if I really stuck my mind to it and practiced enough that I could get there.
Congratulations on making Team USA. Tell me, what do you think has been the distinguishing aspect of your competition that has put you in this position?
I think it's been creativity and consistency. The last 2 years, I've been doing a trick in the half pipe that no one else is doing, and I think it's really set me apart competitively. It's the last trick in my run. There's 5 tricks, but it's the last one right at the bottom. And also just the that same, consistency and regiment that I applied to slopestyle over so many years. I just took that right into half pipe. Just practicing, your tricks over and over and over again and not resting on your laurels and just, expecting that it's going to be hard, it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a little thinking outside the box.
X Games certainly huge, one of the biggest competitions, of course, outside of an Olympic year. How kind of explain how the Olympics is different than the other competitions that you're day in and day out in your sport?
hmm that's a great question. I think, like at the X Games, for example, people might refer to us, and when I say people, I mean fans, would refer to us like as skiers. And at the Olympics, we get referred to as Olympians. Like we kind of just get put in this whole other category of athlete. And then sort of bundled with like all these other incredible athletes at the games. The other one I like to, mention is like, like my friends know about the X Games, where like, my parents and like their parents know about the Olympics. The Olympics just stands on a pedestal of tradition and history, unlike any other sporting competition in the world, and it just has such a wide, social impact that it's just sensational.
How will it be different from going from slopestyle to the half pipe at these games? I mean, it is your fourth games, but it is your first in the pipe.
Yeah. Um, well, the cool thing about half pipe is the viewing experience. I would say above all, the half pipe, on TV, it looks good, but in person, you can see the whole thing. It's like in an arena almost. The venue's like right in front of you. You've got the lights, you've got the grandstands at the bottom, the pit, all the people. I just think it'll be more of like a just a party, like a crowd, a little bit more of like you know, maybe like a traditional kind of sport experience at the Olympics. Halfpipe is just cool to watch.
It certainly is. What is going through your mind when you're at the top And then when you're going throughout your routine, what's going on in Nick Goepper's mindset?
I always have sell these affirmations that I repeat all the time, and it kind of helps me just stay in a calm mindset, but kind of distracts me a little bit too from thinking about other random stuff. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. You can do this. You can do this. Believe in yourself. You got this. Sort of just talking to yourself over and over again. Just kind of keeps you like in that mindset. And also, if you just, I said this earlier today actually to someone that one of my favorite quotes is if you think you can or you can't, you're probably right. And so just thinking that you can over and over again can only help you.
Yeah. When you're sizing up the competition, kind of ask you to be an analyst here. Okay. You're the analyst. You're looking at the field. Who's going to be competing at the Olympics? Who's your main competition? Who do you think really are the top contenders? And to what are you attributing that to?
Um, I'd say the three most competitive countries are the US. We have a really stacked team, Canada and New Zealand. These countries all like have amazing, talented athletes. Brendan McKay from Canada, Andrew Longino, Finn Melville Lives, and Luke Harold from New Zealand. But these, they've got facilities, but they also have just it's in their culture too. Like half pipe skiing and slopestyle skiing, like, action sports is kind of how I'll categorize them, are very popular and cool in these countries. And I think that, they just produce some of like the best athletes when it comes to like park and pipe skiing and snowboarding because they love it.
Have you been to the venue in Italy yet?
I have, yeah.
Okay. So what's your assessment of it?
I love it. It's incredible. It's amazing. I haven't been there when there's snow on the ground, but I've been there twice just to look at it. And it's going to be unlike any of the Olympics the last three times I've been. First of all, it's in it's in the Western Hemisphere. It's also like in this little village, like like the other Olympics that I attended were sort of like the village, I don't know, it kind of seemed like they were a little like manufactured almost, but this one is like there's a ski area there, there's people that live there, there's businesses, like it just feels like we're going to like a town that's been there for 500 years, which is true. So it's going to be really, really cool and kind of, I don't know, I mean, obviously they're going to build all kinds of stuff, but it's going to feel like a small town kind of vibe. And I love that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I felt that way about Sochi. It's like none of this was here. This is
Hmm.
all kind of like a mirage of sorts. So a lot of you've been talked about and has been written about your mental health. And how are you feeling? How are you just mentally? Are you feeling strong?
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster of my 20s now into my 30s, but now like feeling strong, feeling good. I've got an amazing girlfriend and support system. And I think it's sort of like that's a hard question to answer. I think it would be insincere to just say feeling all right, all good, everything's great. Because I think everyone is always working on something in here, whether it's, confidence or like self-love or empathy or like uh just eating healthy, like whatever can contribute to, positive mental well-being. Like there's always improvements to be made, and it's never perfect. But I would say, I've been on a roll skiing. Skiing's felt great. Like my support team is awesome. Like I don't know. I think I'm appreciating life and the people in it right now, which I think is really a huge piece of the pie that's been going well. So
That's great. Are you finding that your fan base, what do you think they're relating with you most about? The fact that you've had these trials and tribulations that they can relate to, or just like the spectacular stunts that you're doing in the half pipe?
I think the skiing gives me the credibility as it would any athlete or entertainer, but it's the human aspect that people can really relate to, right? The fans can't relate to double cork 16s and the half pipe, but they can relate to, maybe struggling at home after a breakup with somebody, or like a failure at work or whatever, or a huge success. Like maybe you had a kid or like bought your first house or something. I don't know. There's just the human side of us, I think, is important to show people because we're all just regular people at the end of the day.
Yeah, tell me about these pants, the American flag pants. It's the pants. You
Yeah.
can't wear those. They're not part of the Team USA gear, right?
Nah, but I'll wear them at the X Games, and obviously this year is a great year to, fly some patriotism, and I just love America. I love everything about it. The highs, the lows, the good and the bad, and I mean, it's been especially controversial the last whatever 12 years. And man, I just my favorite part about living here is just how the pendulum swings to both sides, and traveling the world has just made me appreciate where I come from so much more. And I think it's important to not only be, not only be a critic, but also appreciate, what we all have here. So
Yeah. Is there anything that you're doing that you're approaching these games differently from the other games? Because you're a veteran, and sometimes people are like, "Oh my gosh, the first time I just was happy to be on Team USA, and then the second time I realized you got to get a place on the podium," and
yeah.
or just different mindset. And you really are an Olympic veteran now. Have you tweaked your approach for these games as we're in this lead up time?
I just think I'm gonna be more prepared than ever. Mentally, uh, or physically. I mean, I've been like I've got all the tricks now. Like I know exactly where the venue is. Like I can visualize it in my head. I know who's gonna be there at the start gate. I know who my coach is. I know the tricks I'm doing. I know blah blah blah, blah, like all these little points of preparation that I've just been like building over the years. Will just all sort of accumulate in this Olympics in February. The other thing I would say is I'm gonna be enjoying this one the most because as I get older, I have the more ability to like step outside my tunnel vision and just appreciate things as they come. When I was 19 at my first Olympics in Sochi, um, I think I was just I just kind of felt like a fish out of water the whole time. Like I had no idea what was going on. Everything was crazy. I was scared. I was confident. I was nervous. I was happy. Like it was just crazy. But this time I'll just be able to have a little bit more of that stuff on cruise control, and I'll be able to appreciate more.
You're living in Utah. How much of your identity is Indiana, is Hoosier?
I would say it's more than Utah. You know, I mean, especially now that Indiana University is making us so proud. But yeah, I think I carry my Midwest tradition with me wherever I go, and especially here in Utah. Being from southeastern Indiana is something I talk about all the time. I'm super proud of it. Like everyone always they don't refer to me as the Utah guy. Like, no, that's the guy from Indiana. Even the announcers on TV. So I mean, that's where I really hold that true to my heart.
Yeah. And where would you say is your biggest fan base?
I would say my biggest fan base is still Midwest. Yeah. Indiana, Ohio, like Northern Kentucky. In fact, I was at a competition in Copper Mountain, Colorado back in December, and there was these three guys from Kentucky that were like in the crowd, like going insane. Like they could not contain themselves how stoked they were to see me and tell me that they were from Kentucky. And I'm pretty sure that I'm the only skier in at that Colorado competition that had that going on.
Well, the storyline is just so hard to resist, that we have this Olympic skier that grew up in Southern Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, It's it kind of it does sound crazy and it is crazy, but when you think about those small hills like Perfect North slopes, you can go up and down that small hill a lot of times in a 12-hour day, especially when you can ski at night. So a lot of repetition.
And would you like to say anything? Shout out to the people at Perfect North because I know they hold watch parties for you. They claim you.
Yeah. Yeah, Perfect North is near and dear to my heart. I mean, they've always invested in the terrain park, which has allowed me to get to where I am, and some of the other skiers that have come out of there. Justin Schoenfeld, Quinn Dellinger, also Olympians, and Chip, the Perfects crew, Chip and Tim Dahl and everyone there. Like I just, and they're still a family-owned business too, which I really love.
Right, right. All right. Is there anything else, Nick, that you think that we haven't hit on here during our conversation that it's like, another point and something that maybe you're missing? Um, what would it be?
Um, I don't think so, but I will see you guys and the rest of Indiana at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in May for the 500.
Oh, you're going to be one of the celebrities? Are you going to be?
I don't know, but I usually go and I'm planning on it this year.
Oh, that'll be fun. I remember last time the tour, I mean, I think they took you to the governor's office and then did you go skiing at the Speedway?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
I mean, that was after Sochi.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it snowed there. That was fun.
That was, yeah, I just kind of remember that. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. I wish you the best at the X Games. We're so excited to follow you, and you can't send me too much stuff. And
All
I'll
right.
go over that with your mom too, because I know that you're going to be tunnel vision on what you're doing. But we're
All
cheering
right.
for you. Okay. Take
Thank you,
care.
Ann.
Uh-huh. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.